Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so getting things done today. Feeling pretty good about those things at this point. Just got through paying for the hotel room for this upcoming week, the final week on the contract. So hopefully things can go well with my situation so that I don't have to necessarily go through what I went through 3 weeks ago. Doing laundry, you know what I mean? Trying to throw as much into the laundry as I can into one bundle, even though I had about 2 bundles worth of laundry. So far so good with the wash. We'll see what happens, how much of that will actually dry. But that's one thing. The therapist called me this morning. The information that I needed sent from my GR was sent over to me. I was able to upload it to Benefits Cal DPSS. So that was something that was absolutely major for me. Obviously, you guys know they had denied me for my GR earlier this week because essentially what they said is that I owned $100 or more worth of stock. But I'm not getting GR for financial problems necessarily. I'm getting it for the disability process. As I'm waiting for SSI to approve my disability, I would then need money to take care of that disability process. I'm not supposed to be working. You know, that's the kind of thing it is. So they shouldn't be judging me necessarily off of the fact that I own anything, because my disability doesn't have anything to do with that. What I also understand is because that information that we were waiting on from the psychiatrist had yet to be sent to Benefits Cal, the lady that I initially spoke to from Benefits Cal told me that until that information was sent over to them, they would put me under GR under regular circumstances. They would put me on GR based on what would be the criteria for others until that paperwork was sent to her. Now that that paperwork is sent, my hope is that there should be no concern. They should be able to give me my GR. Hopefully they'll kick that in right away so that I can at least have somewhere some circumstances from which to work with in regards to that. Also, I spoke to the lady from Benefits Housing this morning, Beverly, the lady I spoke to a couple weeks ago. We had a little laughter about T-Mobile and how she needed some to use their spam block service, and I was able to tell her what that spam block was, so hopefully that worked out for her. Yeah, I spoke to her this morning. She happened to call around the same time that I had spoken with my therapist. Essentially, what she was saying is, she wanted to follow up to see how I was, if I was able to get housed. I told her not yet. Told her the whole situation with GR and how that paperwork was now submitted. And she was essentially saying that there are other places that I could live that are not necessarily connected to GR. And even though I went to a place on 66th Street that she had sent me to that wasn't necessarily offered to me because of my lack of payment or whatever, lack of income, there were other places that she could send me to as well. So I was like, all right, that sounds great. She was like, well, how about let's call back on Tuesday. We're going to reconvene on Tuesday and I can get you some of that information on Tuesday. So I'm going to call her on Tuesday and see if there's another place she can get me to. I told her that the place that we initially went to was probably not for me, because even though it was a nice spot, it's not a sober living home. So I would likely be living next to somebody who's struggling with substance abuse, and I didn't think that would be good for myself as well. So we're going to see if there's something else available since some weeks has passed. Maybe something will pop up that can get me out of this hotel into something a bit more stable, so I ain't got to keep on spending $400 a week to stay here while I'm waiting for an opportunity to find something else. So essentially that's what it is, $368 a week. So that's like paying rent in a rather normal rent rate for an apartment. So that's kind of what I've been spending to live in a hotel. So family money, none of it's my own, obviously, and I very much appreciate them for sending that to me to help me out through these difficulties. But now that we have the paperwork uploaded for Benefits Cal, now we got to wait for them to approve that paperwork, which shouldn't be nothing in the way of that. The therapist signed it. I got copies of it. It's uploaded on a Friday. They should be able to get me my benefits hopefully by next Friday as to which checkout date will be for this apartment, this hotel. Now, upon checkout, I don't know if they're going to give me a third contract. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing. It's like last time that I was kind of bending the rules trying to see if I can get back in the same day. They didn't allow it. But I did spend a night in a hotel, which cost me about $97 that night, only to be able to turn around and get a new contract within the following morning. I don't know that will be available. You know, one of the things that was on the table was the fact that they didn't have many rooms that next morning. I was lucky to get the final room, which this is, that had no air conditioning, which was at like a $270 rate. You know what I mean? So it's a lot on the line right now. You know, there's no guarantee I'm gonna be able to do that next week. If the benefits don't come in, I would still need help for that week. So it's just a lot of stuff that I need to work out from regards to GR. But I was able to talk to my uncle and let him know that paperwork was submitted for my GR. We finally got the therapist to send that back, and I sent that information to my sister as well. So they both sides of the family know that my GR should, in theory, be close by. Now that the main thing is submitted. These benefits cow is going to know I'm set to receive something in regards to my disability. So that's really what this is about, man. It's a tough road for people who have disability like mine. Mental health stuff that really keeps you from working. I'm not disabled of the body. You know what I mean? I can move around, I can walk around, I can communicate and all that. I'm not throwing stuff around. And so there's a big respect due to people who have different disabilities than myself. Who are much more debilitating in that sense. But nevertheless, I've been struggling with just addressing certain things this week. I wanted to call DPSS to get some information on what my options were if for some reason the therapist didn't get back to my paperwork, or if that paperwork was rejected. Couldn't bring myself to do it. Like literally couldn't bring myself to do it. So that's what the disability is about. It's about stress management and going towards things that are stressful, and how inconsistent I'm able to do so while trying to self-motivate. Now, if others in the place to help me motivate, for which they're not here, maybe it would have a different effect. But everything I do is based on isolation, and thus self-motivation is very important. So when you have those two issues going on at the same time, where you can't address stress and you don't like being around others for too long, it becomes a situation where you end up not getting done what needs to be done as consistently as necessary to keep things on point. So that's really what the essence of what my circumstances been. You know, I'm very thankful that the Lord has gotten me through it, though. I felt very sick 2 weeks ago, mentally. It felt like I wanted to quit based on these circumstances not falling into place, based on my lack of understanding of how I could get this second contract for this week. I thought I would be in much worse trouble for these past 3 weeks than I have been, or last 2 weeks rather than I have been. And, you know, was feeling quite suicidal, to be honest with you. But the Lord got me through that. My faith got me through that. I didn't turn to any drugs, didn't waste any money on liquor or anything like that. Been trying to work out, keep my body as healthy as I can, and I've been pretty good about that. I don't think I'm gonna work out right now. I'm kind of exhausted from the last 2 workouts, but I'll probably get back to it tomorrow after taking a day off, or get to it tonight depending on how I feel. But point is, I'm trying to maintain my health, my health of body, health of spirit, while my mind continues to do what it naturally does. I'm not mad at myself for not handling certain things. I'm not mad at myself for not going to work, even though it probably needed to for my circumstance. I could not bring myself to, and I'm okay with that. I've had trouble bringing myself to do things like school when I was a child, so this isn't a new problem. It's just a problem that I have to address differently with my mother no longer being alive, and you know what I'm saying, just circumstances being different now. Just got to manage myself a bit better, a bit more effectively. And so that's what getting help was about. After getting evicted from that place over in Lenox, based on all these circumstances playing out the way they do naturally for me, that prompted me to get the help that ultimately is available. That prompted me to understand that I need to take some initiative that I hadn't taken to keep from having those consequences that I had newly found were in place. You know, trying to hold AMC as an AMC ape has been a challenge with these mental health concerns, but I'm still in the game, and I've faced a lot of adversity that's tried to force me to sell my shares, and I've still yet to do so with no intentions of it. And that's something I'm also very proud of. I'm doing it for the right reasons, not just to make money for myself so I can take care of myself and family, but to fight for fairness in the stock market, for which I understand there is very little. especially for individuals who don't know how to play stock options, for those who are concerned about using themselves over leverage, using circumstances like margin, which will leave them over leveraged, thus ruining their credit and various different things just to make a buck in that market. I think that there should be a way for people to own things, start up businesses and things of that nature that go public without having to worry about them being run into the ground by whales and hedge funds that look to steal from people all over the world. Since trillions of dollars have been stolen from the world's economy by way of the stock market, and I'm aware of this, I have fought tooth and nail to do my part in holding my shares throughout the course of many psychological applications of what has been thrown at us by those who invest in that. Those who invest in and benefit from investing in the stock market in such a nefarious way have also invested a great deal into the deterioration of this movement, and they have failed in regards to myself, and will continue to, so long as I stay upright in what it is that I'm trying to accomplish, and thankful for the help of my family who've not forced me to sell my shares as well in this process. I believe greatly in what it is that I'm doing. It can benefit everybody, not just people that look like myself, but anybody that invests in the stock market. And that's why things have gotten so bad for me, is because I refused to sell my shares even when they got to a position of strength for my finances. I saw the shares be worth as much as $75,000 at one point, and I did not sell. Hovered around $30,000 and $40,000, and I did not sell. And the reason why I did that is because I believed in it. Now, once my mental health started taking over and my finances started going left, I did pick from my shares and sell certain shares. And for that, I am very sorry to the ape movement. But I still have my original shares. A lot of those shares that I sold were synthetic shares that were ultimately picked up along the way with money that I probably should not have invested in the first place. That downward pressure I put on our movement is something that I have to live with, but ultimately never sold out of my position. And I stand on that, proud of that. And if I would have had my mind right then, I would have only built my position responsibly rather than moving in a direction that was ultimately impulsive and leaving myself without the ability to hold the fullness of my position. But nevertheless, the movement is something that I've used my voice on this channel to talk about. My struggles is something that I've documented on this channel in real time throughout the course of the last 3 years, as well as my triumphs and my faith. And today I wake up this morning with struggles on my mind, as usual, with anxieties about things that didn't have to do with improving my circumstance, and I prayed about those things this morning, and the Lord continued to find me worthy of the blessings that came thereafter, the phone calls that I needed, the documents that ultimately I'd been waiting for. And it just showed me that applying my faith to prayer to override that of my mind, which often tends to put things off and overthink certain stresses, and often puts myself in a position to worry about things that don't have anything to do with my circumstance, as a means of handling, as a means of putting off those stresses onto a subject specifically. Like my friend Karen, who I've talked about a great deal, and she struggled with her own world, and she did not have the strength more or less to give me all that I would need to settle my mind in regards to her. So I tend to put myself off in thinking about what she has going on and how she's not reaching back to me in certain ways. That really doesn't benefit me. It doesn't give her the energy that she can use from me that helps uplift her in her situation or view her in a proper light. And I've been praying a great deal about overcoming that, and I think the Lord is well on the path to helping me understand that that's not the way to move, and that's not the way for me to think of her either. And so I struggle with that greatly, but nevertheless I understand why, and my faith is going to continue to carry me through all struggles. So it's a lonely life. My choices have been not great, but as of late I've been proud of myself and how I've handled those stresses, and more or less have managed my mental health to the best of my ability. And I'm hopeful that this is the end of some of those struggles by way of the financial support that I'll need from GR, and some of the programs that I can get into by way of GR that will hopefully get me permanent housing. So that is really the gist of the circumstance. That's where we're at. I got one more week to be in this place. Still no real path to what I need immediately in my hand, but that is ultimately a better circumstance than I found myself being in any moment before this, within the situation. Now that I have that paperwork submitted from my therapist, specifically stating that I should deserve GR based on her opinion about my mental health, professional opinion. So it's been hard, man. It's been hard. I'm not going to fool anybody and say I haven't received help, though. I've had a lot of people help me out. My boy T, Karen herself, has been giving me all she can, even though she's had her own struggles, as we've briefly spoken about. And, I've needed more from her, but it's not necessarily something that I think I could have gotten. No different than I couldn't have done certain things that I needed to do for myself. Just got to respect that you're struggling and others are struggling too. And just because you need more from them don't mean they can give it to you. And that's what this has taught me, to go to God in regards to that. And, the enemy, I feel, has been attacking me on many fronts. And I say the enemy meaning Satan. He's been attacking me on many fronts, but I've been attacking him as well. And if you go through my channel, you're going to see plenty of conversations that I feel speak to clearing up what I feel is misdirection and confusion on the internet and various different things that we see. And you know what I mean? I just feel like I've been going through a bit more struggles than maybe I otherwise would, because of my defiance to that energy. A lot of things have gone unnecessarily wrong as to where they probably wouldn't go most of the time, and I just think that's because of my intent on being what I believe is good in this world, and so against what culture would ultimately put in my place to kind of be tempted by. 39 years old, I've already gone through some paths that allowed me to understand that wasn't good for me or anyone else, or for my voice or my last name, and because of it, I've now spent a good portion of my time on this camera speaking against certain things that I believe go against that, including trying to speak into the belief that a God exists and that you all should give him a chance. Of course, if you follow me close enough, you also know that I have a great passion for the NBA. My understanding within the NBA is how to read the market more so than the game itself, although I think I have a strong understanding of the game based on how much time I've spent watching it, playing it, and ultimately following the video game for many years. And I know that may sound ridiculous to some, but not to those who play it. They know how much you can learn from playing the game. And I've had struggles with that game. It became an obsession, no different than anything else that I struggled with. Hiding myself and my mental health in those games over the years, the course of my adult life, childhood, and etc. But I've gotten away from video games over the last several years and have found art, this channel, my playlist curation project, for which I'm very proud of, and my musical gift is something that I also talk to you guys about a lot. Follow me on Apple Music, BDF 44, spell out the 44. And it's just one of those situations where I've tried to use all of my various different talents, as well as my experiences and my struggles, to try to make something happen in regards to myself outside of the various different things that I feel I can't control. And the process has been slow in regards to building this channel, but that's been on purpose, because I don't hashtag anything. I don't often promote. I don't invest in my promotion, but I still see great deal of success in terms of likes to view ratio. So I believe if I were to invest in myself, I would do well in these various areas. My art is also something I'm very proud of. Throughout the course of the last 3 years, I've done over 7,000 art pieces. I'm not an overly talented artist, but I am a dedicated one, and been able to share my art on various different platforms such as Art Deviant and Art Pal and Sketch a Day, for which I'm on a month and a half streak at this point, sharing my art every day, getting likes every day. Throughout the course of these struggles, I haven't missed a day. And so these are the type of things that I just wanted people to understand that I'm doing. I'm a well-rounded, very talented, but very sick individual. And in the course of these things being the case, I've spent, as I've said, a lot of my time in isolation while all of this has been happening. And I'm proud of the strength that I've been able to display to not only myself, but to those who see it. And I want to hopefully encourage others to believe that they can get through their struggles, whether you have others or you're alone. And although I haven't been alone in my support, as I've said, my family and various friends have been very close to me in regards to making sure that I have what I need from them. Ultimately, I've spent most of my time alone while accomplishing all of these things. So that's really what it is, man. I wanted to sum up where I'm at in my life, even though most of y'all probably already know this stuff. There are some new people who follow me. There are some people who want to know what it is I'm up to. Want to know how we got to this point. And I felt like this would be a great time to try to summarize all of it to the best of my ability. So that's really what it is, man. Shout out to all the people who've helped me. My uncle, my aunts, sister, of course. You know, friends, family. As a whole, I appreciate all of you not only helping me, but being patient with me as I struggle. And I look to pay forward all of the love that you've shown me and the support you've shown me to others. And I look forward to living a long life. Even though I wanted to quit many times in this circumstance, my faith has kept me not only alive, but sober. And I'm thankful for that. And at this point, I just look forward to getting through these struggles and continuing to get through this in faith. I'm not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of things that can still go wrong in my circumstance that can leave me in a much worse position than I find myself today. But just like any other circumstance, I will handle it in faith, and I'll continue to work on the various different things that are my personal goals for my body and my diet and various different things like that to keep myself feeling positive. I haven't done any art pieces in about 2 weeks since I've been in this particular room, but I'll get back to it when I feel inspired. I still got playlists to make. I've done those, and of course the content is going to keep coming because the Lakers are going to be playing tomorrow. And if you know me, you know I'm going to be following the Lakers. It's about as closely as I follow anything else. So that's what it is, man. This is the summary of where we're at. I don't think I gave y'all everything because there's a whole nother conversation to be had about this phone and how I've struggled with trying to get an affordable line. But if you follow me close enough, you know too much about that. And I'm sure I'm one step closer to getting that, just like any other goal that I've had set for myself, because I'm doing the things that I believe the Most High is pleased with. So I know He's going to work these circumstances out, just like He got me out of the dumps so many other times in my life. So that's what I wanted to say, man. That's a full summary of where we're at. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.